Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner, and today's video is going to be the follow-up to the Q&A announcement I posted not that long ago. So in this video I'll be answering the questions that you guys asked me, and well, let's just dive right into this. MegaMonkey666 asks, what are you hoping to see from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard in 2021? I'm hoping to see both games make efforts to slow themselves down because both of them have gotten really fast again. Vanguard with its rampant power creep because every new set that comes out every 3 to 4 weeks now creates a new best deck that just completely shits on everything else and makes older best decks like Dodex, Shaharot, and Luard now seem fair in comparison. You can't have that, especially when it's every 3 weeks, because then you end up having a situation where a shop gets a set in, and if they don't immediately sell it off or all their stock of it right away, it's going to end up sitting there collecting dust because like a month later, that set's irrelevant and nobody wants to buy from it anymore. And so they need to stop releasing sets so frequently, space them out to every 2 or 3 months, and secondly, they need to do a better job of balancing out the cards in these sets because you got like your 1 or maybe your 2 good clans in a set, and then you got 2 other clans in a set that are just kind of there as filler. Set 12 wasn't as bad for this. It was really just kind of Genesis that got like the short end of the stick, but even then, Genesis got decent stuff. Whereas you look at set 10 and set 11, it's basically Luard and 3 filler decks, and then you got Lambros and 3 filler decks, or rather 4 filler decks except Lambros, and Shiranui became playable thanks to their promos, which I'll talk about in another question. And yeah, they need to not do that. And then when Overdress comes in, they also need to make it so that whatever gimmick that Overdress comes in clashes with gifts and makes you not want to play gift grade 3s, because gifts have been a problem for quite some time. And then as far as what I'm hoping to see from Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2021, again, similar things. Konami needs to rein in the all-in, build a board, 6 negates, rip 3 out of your hand. I can power through your 3 hand traps with my 5 million extenders combo decks because they have become too fast, too consistent in the case of Dragon Link, and they just are not fun for the average player to play against. Sure, in a high tier event like a regionals, playing combo versus combo or combo versus control, both players, they expect that. But for like the majority of the player base, you know, the casuals and to mid-level players that are the ones that buy most of Konami's product, they hate this stuff. And from players looking outside the game, going, do I want to play the Yu-Gi-Oh? And then you show them what Dragon Link or Inferno Noble or what Virtual World does, they go, oh, wow, that's fucking stupid. I don't want to play this. And they need to rein those decks in so that the players that aren't dedicated combo players, like my friends, and I know one of them's watching this because he asked this question, but they need to make it so like the format could be appealing to not just Wombo combo players, but to other players as well. Sure, releasing new pot cards and releasing more like floodgatey cards, that'll appeal to like the people who like to just flip up there can only be 1 and try and camp behind it with 3 solemns. I wish it wasn't to the point where you'd had to do that if you don't want to play combo, but when combo gets that crazy, that's kind of your alternative. Like 2019, in my opinion, was one of the best years as far as like what you could play for a good while. Granted, we had the issue of short print secret rares, which is another thing I want to see changed, but aside from that, playing decks like Striker, Orcus, Thunder, Salad, all 4 were mid-range with a bit of combo flavored in. Striker was more mid-range with a bit of control flavored in, but like those decks to me were great because you had your ability to combo, or you didn't have to combo. You could just set up a more simple board and sit behind your back row or your couple hand traps, and your opponent couldn't kill you unless you opened the literal nuts or they were playing some kind of dedicated going second strategy, which, yeah, that was a thing back then. But so I'd like to see the format, the game reined in, and secondly, I want to see, much like with Vanguard, better balanced sets released, because like Yu-Gi-Oh sets recently have changed in that while they don't have to now pander to the relevant anime of the time by fitting in some like protagonist cards that aren't very good and take up space, which is nice. And because of that, we're seeing legacy support and like new archetypes. The problem is that the recent sets are kind of, well, top heavy. It's just basically the sets are 4 good cards and then 96 cards that are not as good. And like when you're trying to crack a box, especially with like raised box prices up here in Canada because of the pandemic, you have to not only pull one of the 2 good secret rares in this set, but you need to pull like maybe another one. Like if I were to buy a box of Phantom Rage, I would go super neg on it unless I pulled a Zeus and an Alpha because, well, Canadian dollar conversion. But in any case, like the fact is that these sets are 4 good cards and then like a bunch of like mediocre to okay cards at best is not good. The fact that they keep printing new archetypes in these sets and most of these archetypes aren't good is a problem. Like who the fuck cares about dual avatars? Or yeah, like that's the new one that came out, right? I don't even remember what they're called in English because, or maybe that is their English name. All I know is they suck. And they're not going to be good in the next set afterwards. And like, so you're filling these sets up with these filler archetypes, and then you got these garbage filler cards as well. Like, who the fuck cares about some mean normal trap card that lets your opponent summon a monster from their graveyard and you do nothing afterwards, or some other, I forget. Like that's how like meh some of these set releases have been, because like you remember the good cards in them, and then you forget about the 75% shit of the rest of the set. So they need to do a better job with these sets and not make it so that they're so top heavy. Because like, granted, Phantom Rage ended up being surprisingly better in this regard because the Virtual World deck ended up being good. Therefore, the Hime Ultra Rare became money. But before that happened, it's again pull Zeus, pull Alpha, pull Torn Scales, or otherwise you're box awful. And the set before that, oh man. So with Rise, that's another story because like Rise is so badly distributed that the sets in there are going to be expensive for the cards, and they're going to be expensive forever. Like I gave up trying to pick up Dogmatica, let alone trying to get Triple Tactics Talent or Forbidden Droplets because they're just so expensive now. At least after converting over into Canadian, like droplets. Last I checked, what is it, like $100+? I know that's what it was initially, and I think Talents is like 140 Canadian. That's not good. Like we need to stop making the 3 of staple cards that many decks need secret rares. Stop that, Konami. Make them ultras. Just yes, you don't short print them anymore. When you print like 10 secrets in a set and only 2 of them are good, they might as well be short printed because that's you have to pull those guys from like a out of 10. Like I think like the math, if you pulling the chances of you pulling those cards are still pretty bad. Just I don't know. So that's all I really got to say about that. And um is there anything else I'm really hoping to see? um Colossus off the ban list and Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to 3. Colossus can go to 1 and I'd be happy, but Darkness Metal can go to 3 now that he's been eroded. And that's all I really got to say about that. Adamus0 asks, to go off the Vanguard questions, what do you think Konami should do with the upcoming ban list? As well, have you been updating your Thunder Dragon deck, if you still have it? With the cards released in Toon Chaos, the deck has been a fun Rouge deck to play with. You can't see it, but my eye is twitching because one of my pet peeves, people saying Rogue as Rouge, has just been done. I know you didn't do it on purpose, but oh my god, every time it happens, I die a little inside. Rouge is rouge, which is French for red. Rogue is Rogue. Remember that. Rogue. Oy vey. But in any case, that aside, what I want on the ban list, well, as I kind of mentioned in the last question, I want Engage, Colossus, Mirage Style to all come off the list because I don't think the decks that they'll be played in will do a whole lot. If your deck isn't capable of handling and Harper. If your deck isn't capable of handling one Engage Striker, Colossus, or Salad, then it probably has no chance against the current format anyway. The obvious things I want banned are Smoke Grenade, VFD, Zexal, LP. Um, there's some other cards too I want to that probably need to be hit that I just can't remember off the top of my head. Things that can come off the list in some regard. Uh, let's see. Darkness Metal Dragon can go to 3 that he's got as errata. I don't think him in multiples will make that much of a difference for Dragon Link, and that's assuming that it gets off with more than just Elpa being banned. As either Quick Launch or Rocket Tracer will probably also get hit. Like, they're going to go after that deck pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. World Legacy Guard Dragon will get hit. What else is there? What else in Infernoble will get hit as well? Because you've got, what is it? You've got the Smoke Grenade. Would they hit Isolde? She definitely warranted being banned a couple of years ago, but what about now? That's a tough one. Yeah. That's all I can really think of off the top of my head. And have I been updating my Thunder Dragon deck with stuff from Toon Chaos? I do have the stuff to build Thunder Dragon out of Toon Chaos, but that being said, I haven't touched it since Colossus got hit because I've had other decks on hand. I actually had Emancipator last summer, but we never had anything to really play it in, so rip. And I have Dragon Link right now, but that's also going to die. So once those things get hit, and depending on how, oh right, Dinosaur, miscellaneous source to 1, or quite possibly banned, either or could happen. And if those don't happen, Overraptor to 1 and Fossil Dig to 1 or something. Like, I expect Dinosaur to also get hit in some manner, because like that deck has been pretty strong for quite some time. Invoked can also get hit. Meltdown or Alistair to 1 as well. And where was I? Oh yes, right, back onto some other things. So right, Thunder Dragon. So otherwise, I haven't touched the deck. I honestly just didn't know how to build a deck with new stuff, because I was focused on other stuff, and it probably would be an okay rogue deck, but Colossus coming back to 1 would really help. Also, I don't own the Chaos Emperor Dragon Pendulum monster, and I imagine that's also probably useful in the deck. I don't know if it plays it or not, but it would be nice to have. Tent Start asks, when Sweet Command and Saber Verse come out, will you try them? In their own decks, probably not, unless they give us Unruly Dragon in Infinite Rebirth, and even then, that's assuming Infinite Dragon, assuming Unruly Dragon retains the effect to retire something after it's been retired from Guardian Circle. So if it's retired as an intercept, counterblast 1, retire one of your opponent's resting rear guards. If it has that kind of effect, then I might consider a defensive sweep deck, because that would allow you to then limit break, pop their other rear guard, and they can't kill you because you have another intercept up, and they have to kill it. Therefore, Sweet Command Dragon just suddenly acted as a perfect guard. But I don't know if they'll enable that kind of playstyle. So otherwise, then probably not, as Vowing Saber Reverse as a deck is just not worth playing over the already established Gauntlet Buster Descendant deck. Sweet Command Dragon I'll probably play as a 1-of in that deck, because it's a good ride, counters rush, draws you cards, not a bad limit break and whatnot. Whereas Vowing Reverse is just basically discount Gauntlet Buster. There are some like niche situations where he'd be good, but in the format that we're going to be getting that guy in, Revenger format, you're not going to be able to pop 3 cards to get that extra crit consistently, whereas Gauntlet Buster can still get a 1 or maybe even 2 crits, depending on if you're able to break ride it and your Revenger opponent sets up double intercept, then you can get the 3 crits and potentially dunk them. So, yeah, that's all we got to say about that. So, long story short, Sweet Command, maybe. Vowing Reverse, no. And our last question comes from Windwaker Rules, who asks, what are your thoughts on Japanese promo card cards in most archetypes? I think it's sad that the fact that some decks are literally they literally are either tier 1 or tier 2 based on these promo cards, and that shouldn't be a thing. Staple promos shouldn't exist, because it hinders your ability to play these decks, and especially in a game where you've got a Japanese and an English player side, and the English player side doesn't get these promos nearly as quickly. It's different in Yu-Gi-Oh! To some extent, because when they make these strong promo cards, Konami sometimes will import them in a core set therefore you can just get that missing card. Like, oh, when was the last time that happened? Because I know there were one of the recent decks that we got a card had played a promo card. Oh, right. What am I what am I smoking? Dragon Link. Striker Dragon was a promo in Japan, but for North America, they put that in a core set as a OCG import. And my God, was I ever thankful for that, because imagine trying to play Dragon Link this past year and not having access to Striker Dragon. It'd be awful. It would be really bad. So I wish Bushiroad would take that approach where they print this promo card, and then at the first opportunity, the next time that clan gets set support, they put it in. Or here's the crazy thought: they actually make the core support for that clan in the first place good. The fact that Nubatama was bad or pretty bad or bad. It was not good. Like, Shiranui was not a good deck, and I know I'm going to get the raging flaming keyboard fingers of fury and whatnot, because Nubatama mains and have a chip on their shoulder. No, my deck's great. No, your deck was never really the greatest, but because of that grade 1 promo, Shiranui was actually good for a bit when set 11 came out in Japan. Not anymore because, well, lol Gurguit, but uh, the fact that Shiranui and more so Lambros, because Lambros with its promo is tier 1 in Japan. Lambros without the promo, I don't know if it's going to be the same here. It'll see play because we do love Aqua, but at the same time, once set 12 comes out, I don't know if it's going to be able to keep up. Being able to draw as well as set up your Thavas play is pretty good. And the fact that they couldn't do that in the actual set 11, it just shows like how badly done their set balance is. Like, it winds back to that first question that Mega Monkey asked, where what I'm hoping to see from Vanguard in 2021. I'm hoping that they do a better job of designing their sets and having less filler. Why is there filler? And then you make these cards instead. If you're going to make promos, don't make them staples. That's all I really want here. Because, like, could you imagine if every deck in the game required these promos to be good? It'd be fucking awful. Like, at least as a Naru main, I don't have to worry too much about my promo, because Dragon Azure Barca, while good, is not staple. But that's not the case for some of these other decks. Hell, I remember back when Neo Nectar came out over here in the first time. What was it? Yeah, the Cecilia deck. That deck was okay in the West, but it was amazing in Japan because they had Sunlight Garden Guide. She enabled their turn 2 plays better, gave you extra fodder so you could sack easier. Like, it was really disappointing that we couldn't play the Neo Nectar deck that Japan had access to just because of that. And I'm hoping that they stop this, but they're probably not going to, especially if they continue to design sets where you have one really good clan, two okay clans, and one bad clan, and their way of making that bad clan better is just to give them a stupid ass promo that makes them really good. And that's it for this Q&A video. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. They were a blast to answer. As far as future content on the channel goes, I think this is pretty much it for the year. I might do another card fight area video. It won't be on Dragonic Descent, and I'll give you that one right now, as there's something I kind of want to muck around with, but it will depend on how motivated I am going into the next couple of weeks, because it's going to be busy around here with the Christmas and all. And yeah, so if I don't post any new videos between now and next year, I'm just going to say have a safe and Merry Christmas, you guys, and a Happy New Year. Remember to do your part and keep your distance from everyone else. Wear your masks and stay home unless you absolutely have to go out, as it's by following the stuff that we have a reasonable chance of beating Bermuda 19. And yeah, just hang tough until that vaccine comes out, and then we can hopefully take that and eventually start moving on with our lives. And that's all I really got to say in this video. Sorry for the little side tangent at the end, and don't blast me because I suggested wearing masks, because I know that will get some people riled up. Until next time, though, this is BlueStar899, jacking out.
Not to mention, this is right around where the Mafia used to set up shop.
I've heard as much, but only rumors.
Man, all that crap doesn't matter. I'd come here any day as long as they got hot babes.
追い込ま